It's a sack. They get him back at his own 3-yard line. Nick Bosa in there to get him, and that is sack number 6 now for him on the year. After the sack, they'll come up now 3rd and long.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised to see them run the ball here just to try and get some space.
Now on 3rd and long, they'll look to throw. The Mississippi State man, Chris Jones, with a sack there.
As I was watching the play unfold, my eyes immediately went to the referee because I wanted to see, was he going to put those 2 hands over his head, that universal signal for a safety? But it's at the 1-yard line. You know you're playing with fire when you get sacked that close to the goal line.
That's taken at around the 40. And he gets this to the other side of midfield across the 45 before going out. A nice job on the return there, 16 yards. And the Niners set up well. They take over 1st and 10 on the short side of the field.
Go cut! 120! Value 3! Value 3! 12! 12!
On 1st down, it's gone. He's got his running back, Darius Geis. 6 yards on the pickup, and it'll be a 2nd down.
Everyone's got to be able to catch the football. Doesn't matter what position you play, but if you're on offense, be aware a ball may come your way.
He's checking, he's checking, he's checking. Crash, 2 for 1.
Well, they'll run it here on the jet sweep, and that one covered beautifully. Their defenders stayed home, and they'll stop him behind the line. This will be a 2-yard loss on the play, and that'll make it 3rd down.
Cut! 20!
Runs the mic. Watch one. Watch one. Hey, pick your game up.
Out of the gun. Draw. Throwing left side here, and it's complete. And he's going to come up a few yards short of the first. They get him to the ground at the 37. They get only 4 that time as that leads us to a 4th down. And no, it doesn't get there. Hits the crossbar, bounces back out. He had it on line, but it comes up about a rotation short. Well, he had that one on target. That's half the battle. The other half of the battle, however, is distance.
And he nearly had that, too. But it was the crossbar that said otherwise. And that'll deny him a shot at 3.
And he's got this one across midfield into 49er territory. 8 yards on the pickup, and now they'll have some options on 2nd and short.
It's a gain of 8. Brings up 2nd and 2 at the 49ers.
8 yards the gain on that last run. Here's 2nd and a couple.
Check 50. Check 50.
The 20. A big-time play there for New Orleans. So they dig a little deeper in the playbook there, get the wide receiver the ball, running it, and it proves fruitful.
Love the call. When you've got a guy who has running back skills, you want him to touch the ball as well, not just out wide where you throw it to him. Make sure you hand it to him or toss it to him and let him go to work.
Try to pound it in, Kamara. And he'll go backwards, losing yardage to the 5. That's going to go as a loss of a yard, and it'll be 2nd down.
The short field shrinks even more with the type of bodies they brought in on that play. Those extra tight ends, they weren't able to secure their blocks, and that one ended up going backwards.
Back at the 5-yard line now, 2nd and goal. 2nd and 5. And he's got him. It's caught in the end zone. Touchdown, New Orleans. A 5-yard touchdown. And the Saints have taken the lead. Lutz with the extra point, and that makes the score 14-7. After the touchdown, Lutz to kick it off.
The Niners take over 1st and 10 at their own 25-yard line.
The 49er offense set to get this drive underway. And they've got to be a little bit frustrated about that last drive. Missed field goal.
always hurts a team because, you put...
Into heavy traffic, and it's intercepted. It's the linebacker, Alex Anzalone, and he is going to get this one back to the 20-yard line.
When a team's turned it over 3 times in the first half, we just look at the offense and say, guys, what are you doing? But instead, we really should be looking at the defense. They've created the takeaways. 2 interceptions, 1 caused fumble. They played awfully well swarming to the ball here in the first half.
They go play action here on first down. Firing quickly here, and that's complete. And he's going to get a solid gain of 9 before being brought down. Second and right at a yard.
I always laugh when people say, what's the toughest route to defend? And I'm like, any of them, especially if it's a good receiver. That makes things very difficult. But when you're running a drag route, something short, shallow, going through defenders, using guys almost as screens in order to get open, that makes things tougher, guys trying to get to the football.
Now a second down throw for the end zone, but it's incomplete. And we remind you, coming up at the half, we'll join who, Charles?
The coach.
The coach, Jonathan Coachman, standing by in Orlando. He'll have stats and scores from games in progress, as well as scores from earlier today.
The coach.
Sorry, we get slap happy up here sometimes. Nothing doing on second and third down after that 9-yard gain on first. And the 10-year vet knocks it through the goalpost, and they will move up by 10 now, 17-7. They got the interception, but very little movement after, and that forces them to settle for 3. And it does feel like settling when that happens, doesn't it?
It certainly does, but we got to give a lot of credit where it's due, and that's to the defense because they ran onto the field. This is what we call sudden change, right? Interception, you've got to go put out the fire, and they did, holding them to a field goal.
The San Francisco offense ready to start their next drive. They find themselves down 17-7 as they start this drive, 1st and 10. They start on the ground with Geis. And he's upended after a gain of 2 out to the 27.
They tried a quick hitter inside, but that one was swallowed up because what they're hoping, those big defensive linemen will take the bait and move laterally and open up a crease that they can run through. Didn't happen on that play.
They'll break the huddle, come up on 2nd and 8 at the 27-yard line. To throw is gone. Throwing right, and that's complete. And he takes us beyond the 35 before going out of bounds. The Niners have the first down on a gain of 11. Line of scrimmage, the 37 on 1st and 10. They'll fake the give. Now Goff. He's going to float this one deep right side. And nearly picked off there. Almost intercepted. Instead, 2nd down.
This defense has been very disruptive early on as they force another one to go awry.
It seems to be the front and the back end. Pass rush, they've been able to get home, and they're taking the ball away in coverage as well.
I love how you put it together. The front and back working in sync. Only way to play good defense.
And he finally goes down at the 23-yard line. The 49ers now going to use the first of their timeouts as the clock will stop with 45 seconds to go in the first half. So the big play gets them all the way down to the outskirts of the red zone here for 1st and 10. And the Saints pressure gets him. Brought down for a sack.
Hindsight is 20/20, partner. Maybe they should have kept it on the ground again.
Well, it almost looked like the O-line was run blocking again. I mean, they opened up a big hole last time. This time they opened up a hole, and the quarterback got sacked. Got to imagine the pass rush will be equally intense here on 2nd down following the sack. It's 2nd and 18. And a quick throw here, that's complete. That catch good for 5. It's 3rd down. The Saints going to call the first of their timeouts as the clock will stop with just under 30 seconds to go in the first half. New Orleans adding some depth to the secondary. They've got 6 DBs out there now for 3rd.
Hey, watch the screen, watch the screen. Watch the screen.
Now Goff. Going for it all. Back of the end zone. Could he get his feet down? No, it's incomplete.
They went with a dime look on defense. 2 extra defensive backs on the field and covered up essentially every blade of grass. That allowed them to disrupt the play.
And his kick is good. And they're back within a touchdown. It's 17-10. So the 3 points here, they're still down, but they put somewhat of a dent into that lead going into the break.
Anything helps when you're trying to chip away at a lead, but they do know that they're going to need a little bit better effort in the second half.
Very short kick. This will be taken by one of the up men. And they're able to return this one all the way up to the 45. The Saints offense on the field ready to get their drive started. And, you know, certainly a lot of football left to be played. We're not into December yet, but right now where we stand, they're first place in their division. Looking good, looking to be a threat come January.
And let's think about what every team has in their goals, all right? Number 1 goal is what? Make the playoffs. Number 2 goal is win your division. Number 3 goal, and the biggest goal, I think, is to be the highest seed possible that you can be heading into the playoffs so that you can have as many home games as possible to try and get you to the Super Bowl.
And right now fighting for every win possible to try to at least secure home field for the wild card and or divisional round. So with 1 second left in the half, on is the field goal unit. Made his first, this now from 42 yards out. And Lutz puts this one through. And that will do it for this first half. So we reach halftime here in a 10-point game. As we'll send you back over to Orlando with our EA Sports Halftime Report, here's Jonathan Coachman. Set now to go for the third quarter. The Saints have the lead and set to receive the kick. This is fielded a couple yards deep. And he'll take this up past the 20 and down at the 22-yard line.
Let's go.
The Saints offense on the field ready to get their drive started. They built a good first half lead. Now they have a chance to add on to it.
And what I'm thinking is that the offensive staff spent the entire halftime just working with them on, here's what we think they're going to do to attack us in the second half. Nice first half that we've had, guys, but be prepared for some change-ups. We're going to see them when we kick it off in the second half.
See how they handle any adjustments that might be made defensively. Back to throw. Campbell. Nowhere to escape, and he goes down. Nick Bosa, he's the one to get him, and that is sack number 7 for him on the year.
They need to stop to get back into this game, and here's one right to start the third quarter.
Yeah, anytime you go to the lockers with that 2-3 score deficit, you're right. You need that stop, get the football back, and they've done just that.
Series to series, play to play.
Mike 54. Mike 54.
Looking to throw. Campbell. And he's got his big tight end over the middle, complete. And this will move the chains again as the tackle's going to be made at the 49ers 43. And defensively, they were in zone coverage there. Do you have to be a little careful? You're losing playing against a good quarterback like he is to not play too much zone?
Yeah, you have to be careful about how much time you're giving up. I think it's a good point you just brought up. So maybe if...
And they're going to get him. He's taken down for a sack back at the 47-yard line. Defensive end gets in there that time. They were in a 4-3. What's the responsibility of the ends versus the tackles there, Charles?
Well, most of the time when you talk about the ends, they're your pass rushers. They're the guys that you turn loose to try and get to the guy who's going to throw the football. The tackles, usually more of the run stuff in variety. But the way this game is advanced,
and the pressure gets to him again. Chris Jones able to record his 5th sack of the season.
Well, enough takes to start to have a good drive. Quite like a big loss on a sack, does it?
Now they're looking at a 3rd and long, and suddenly the momentum shifted to the other side of the football.
And old Mo is a very, very fickle man.
Need something from deep in the bag of tricks here after 1st and 2nd down. Went backwards. It's 3rd and very long. Now a 3rd down throw, but it misses the target. Incomplete. Had to pass there, 3rd and long on your own side of the field. Just couldn't come up with anything.
That's why teams always talk about having to win the early downs, meaning you've got to gain yardage and set yourself up for 3rd and short, because when it's 3rd and long, the odds go down significantly trying to pick up the 1st down, even throwing the football.
At their own 15-yard line.
The 49er offense set to get this drive underway. We have not seen much on offense from either side. These last few drives, it has been a struggle, hasn't it?
Totally, and you're thinking to yourself right now, if you're on offense trying to get things figured out, okay, we self-scout every week in our game plan. How many things do we do at certain times? What are our tendencies? Time to go to some of those tendency breakers and try and create some offense.
They always have those in their back pocket, don't they?
You have to, and if you don't keep abreast of what you're doing, you lock into a rhythm and make it easy for the opposition.
Looking for tendency breakers right now. They try to throw on second down, but this one is incomplete.
That would have been a great catch, but it's real difficult to hold on to it because it was contested all the way. Would have been a great play if he'd been able to haul that one in.
This offense in desperate need of a conversion as they come up on third down. There's Goff. Got his man complete over the middle. That's Lions. And he's going to get this to about the 20, but that is well short of what he needed. They get 7 there, but it brings up 4th. Here comes the 49ers punter now, as he's on to punt for the first time this afternoon. Fielded just inside the 30. A very good return that time. 18 yards. And the Saints will take over with a first down and 10. The Saints offense on the field, ready to get their drive started. This crew had to punt last time they had the ball, but when you've got a lead like this, you content to play the field position game?
You are to an extent, especially if you like your defense, because you have the lead, you've been controlling the game. But why put them in a tougher spot? You want to get out there and get something done on offense and maybe take command of this game yourself.
So after the incompletion on first, now 2nd and 10.
Let's go, team.
On the ground, Kamara. And he's got this one across midfield into 49er territory. Calling a gain of 4, and it'll leave him with a third down and 6 to go.
Third quarter, and you've got the lead. You're not ready to go into that 4-minute offense to close the game out, but a running game can really benefit your team right now.
Campbell now to throw on third down. That's complete to his running back, Kamara. And he will have a first down here at about the 40. 8 yards, first down as they're able to convert. And a good quarterback facing zone coverage. If he has just a little bit of time to survey the scene, that's what's going to happen.
No doubt about it. If there's no pressure, he's going to continue to pick them apart because he'll have all that time to find someone open downfield. He can only cover for so long. So maybe they want to go to a zone blitz scheme, get a little bit more pressure. Remember when Carolina did that against Denver? They lost the game ultimately. They dropped the defensive end out, and he ended up with an interception in that game in Super Bowl 50. Maybe some sort of scheme like that to try and get more pressure at the passer.
2nd and 14. And he's going to be sacked. They sack him back right at the midfield stripe.
He's the NFL sack leader coming into the game, and now that's 2 more that he's added to his total.
He wants some separation from spot 1 and 2 in that sack category. And now they're looking for 19 yards here on third down following 2 negative plays. Back to throw. Campbell. He gets this into the hands of Taylor. They do get 18, but even that won't be quite enough. It's 4th down. And Lutz's kick is good. And that will stretch the lead up to 13. So 3 field goals that he's hit now. This last one helps him stretch out the lead.
He's been solid, hasn't he? And he lives up to the adage that every offensive coach has ever said to us. We want to end every possession with a kick, right? For them, it's either extra point, field goal, or at worst, a punt. In this case, it's been 3s.
The San Francisco offense ready to start their next drive. And on the last go-around, they really couldn't get anything going.
They had to punt from deep inside their own territory, which means you're going to lose the field position battle as a general rule. What they're looking for now is a little more consistency, move the ball at least a few times on offense, get a couple of first downs, and hopefully flip the field.
Yeah, just something to build off of. That's what they're looking for here. Ball on the 30. They'll come up with a 2nd and 5.
Watch the slant. Watch the slant. Kill. Turn up. Kill. All right.
6 yards the pickup, and that's a first down.
Anytime the offense shows what they call a shot play or a chunk play where they're trying to get big yardage, sometimes people just call it gadget plays, and you hold it to a gain that we just saw there, you feel pretty good about yourself as a defense.
So from the 36 now, 1st and 10.
Yeah, let's get a sack lunch. Whip. Watch the whip. Check.
Now it's gone. Quick hitter here, it's complete. And that play is blown up, losing yardage back at the 35. It'll be a loss of a yard, and that'll bring up a 2nd and 11. Back now here in Santa Clara. It's 49er football, but some ground to cover. They find themselves behind as we hit the 4th and final quarter. That pass play wound up for negative yardage, so here's 2nd and 11. Back to throw, Goff. He's going to let this one go deep. And that is caught one-handed. Oh, my, he pulled it in. A very nice pickup of 33 yards. So the big play changes the complexion of things. Here's 1st and 10 just outside the 30. Again, Goff. Firing quickly here, and that's complete. Give him a couple on the catch. It's 2nd and 8.
One thing you're hoping for when you run drag routes, you're able to hit a receiver in stride, and he can pick up a lot of yardage after the catch. But in this situation, the defense was effective, able to stop him before he could get a good head of steam going.
And inside the 20 before he's brought down. 13 yards there and a Niner first.
Oh, that's one to warm the hearts of all those old school football players, isn't it? Tough, hard, gritty run, got behind his pads, bowled over a few people. Look at that one, right up the gut.
So up through 3 quarters, no reason to lighten up now. And it's complete in the end zone. Touchdown, 49ers. Mark Andrews. His 10th touchdown of the season, 2nd of the game, as his guys are back within a single score. Point after, right down the middle. And now things get a bit more interesting here in this 4th quarter. So here comes the kickoff, and what now is just a 1-score, 6-point game. This is taken about 7 yards deep. And all that worked, but he stopped where he ultimately would have been had he simply taken a knee, and that's the 25-yard line. The Saints offense on the field, ready to get their drive started. That last touchdown has made this really tight. They're clinging now to this slim lead. Second half. And down he goes. The 49ers get there. This may be one of the best stretches of defensive football that I've seen. I don't know about you. 5 sacks last week. Now 3 here in this affair.
I would agree with that, and I've enjoyed watching the skill that's gone into it. You can see the intelligence behind it as well. He's watched tape, and he's setting people up, but relentless. That's the one word that keeps coming to mind. He does not want to be denied at getting to the quarterback.
And they're not denying it. Now left side, a completion to his tight end. That catch good for 5. It's 3rd down.
Well, they're unable to convert that into much, but it's never a bad idea to try to get the ball into a tight end of his caliber's hands and see what kind of disruption he can cause.
The Saints on 3rd down, just 1 for 5 to this point. This will be 3rd and 15. To throw is Campbell, operating from the gun. And look at this. They get the turnover they needed. It's intercepted. Picked off at the 36. And he is going to get this one back to the 20-yard line. Thomas, the intended target. A critical error there in a tight game of the 4th.
all you talk about is taking care of the football, and especially with a lead here in the fourth quarter, turning it over, now the door is open for the opposition.
Just in general, when you're passing in the fourth quarter with a lead, no matter at what point, you got to be super careful.
Got to be careful, and sometimes you can be so careful that you end up running yourself into an error.
Geis with the carry on second down, and he'll be dropped at about the 11 after only a yard. This defense against the run, by the way, they're not top 5, but they are top 10.
So what's your philosophy here? Do you try and run the ball against a team that's pretty good against the run? What if you're a pretty good running team? If so, you might want to go ahead and run it anyway because that's your strength.
This will be caught just inside the 10. And he gets the first down yardage he needs before he's brought down at the 6. The gain of 5 that time gives him the conversion and makes it first and goal. They come up on a first and goal and most likely 4-down territory as they need a touchdown and the PAT for the lead. Now they go screen. It's complete. And he's going to take it in. Touchdown, San Francisco. A great play there. His 4th touchdown on the year. As his guys are an extra point away now from taking the lead here in the 4th. Extra point splits the uprights, and they have taken the lead here in this 4th quarter. Set now to kick this one away, and off it goes. This is taken about 7 yards deep. And the decision to bring it out will cost him about 5 yards as he'll get this only back to the 20. The Saints offense on the field ready to get their drive started. And the points, they have come fast and furious in this quarter.
You really don't want to be on the defensive side of the ball right now, do you? Because you're either thinking, my replacement may get an opportunity.
Your head better be on a swivel.
Totally. Or maybe I just need to get out of the game for a while because I just can't slow these guys down. They've got to figure out a way to disrupt these offenses. And typically, one guy makes a big play, and that can help change things.
They'll be looking for disruption on both sides right now. And he'll be taken down just shy of midfield after a gain of about 4.
When we see those runs to the perimeter, when we see those runs to the edge, we think about big breakers, don't we? In this case, it was a modest gain, but it does open up possibilities here on second down.
A 10th carry for Kamara. And he's got this one across midfield into 49er territory. Give him 4 on the carry, and it'll make this a 3rd and about 2.
And it's 3rd down.
Fourth quarter, 2 minutes on the clock in a tight 1-point game.
Okay, baby, I see you.
So it's Saints football as we get you reset. And let's see what they've come up with offensively after having time to talk it over. Here's Kamara trying to run for it. 20! And he'll take it into the end zone for the Saints touchdown. Alvin Kamara, his 6th touchdown of the season. And once again, the Saints are back out in front. A big spot now for the Saints as they'll indeed go for 2.
Let's go, defense. Hey, man up, D. Man up, D.
Now a fake on the give here as they try the run-pass option. And he is into the end zone again. So get him some oxygen. He scores on the long run and then punches in the 2-point conversion for good measure. Fielded about a yard deep. And he'll be brought down at the 23, make it the 24-yard line. Now it looks like we'll get a timeout as there's a Saints player down here on the field. While the trainers take a look, we'll step aside. The 49er offense set to get this drive underway. And for them, a touchdown their last go-around. Obviously, they'll be hoping to do that again.
And when you start plotting for this drive, when you start thinking to yourself, okay, what are we going to do? You don't go away from what you did before because that worked, but you have to be prepared for wrinkles and counters because you know they'll make some adjustments.
Now, the first play of the drive there is incomplete.
Work with me, partner. Take a deep breath because that's what they're doing down the field now. That incompletion allowed them to exhale a little bit. Get in the huddle, kind of scan the crowd, see if any celebrities are here. Relax a little bit as they start this big drive.
Here's a throw over the middle. It's taken in by his tight end. 15 for the Niners there and a first down.
That gets them the first down, but they've still got to move quickly here.
First and 10 at the 39-yard line.
The drive continues as they search for a tying touchdown. Here's first and 10. Now it's gone. He's got his man on the crossing route. The 49ers now going to use the first of their timeouts as they'll get a chance to talk it over after picking up the first down. Now gone. And, a crusher there as it's intercepted. Chauncey Gardner-Johnson with a pick.
Brandon, this is a veteran quarterback back there. He should know better than to make a throw like this. This is definitely not his best ball, and I think he knew this was trouble the second it was leaving his hand.
So they'll come up first and 10 now from the 33. Now Kamara. And he'll go down at the 28. Now San Francisco going to call their second timeout as they get the stoppage with just over a minute to go in the game.
At the 28-yard line.
Let's go now. Pittsburgh. Yeah, right there, 56. Let him know.
That one looks like he'll throw here. The attempt on the dive, and he has it. What a catch. He'll get 15 and a Saints first down.
Well, partner, when you ask anyone other than your QB to throw the ball, you must have a lot of confidence or you think you're really going to fake them out, and it looks like they did exactly that.
Yeah, going deep in the playbook and a great grab on the other end. The Saints in victory formation now as they'll take the knee.
A loss of a yard brings up second and 11 at the 15-yard line.
So this one a victory here for New Orleans. And I tell you, this was a fun one. Just a close game. Nothing comes easy in this league, as you know. They had to work for that victory.
I've got to go back to what you just said. Nothing comes easy in this league. How many times have we talked to coaches prior to a game and assessed, the strengths, the weaknesses, the whole deal? Even in games when one coach was a decided favorite, what do they always say to us? But you do know this is really a 7-point league. 7 points either way usually decides a ball game. We had exactly that in this one.
And not only that, but this is a gutsy road victory, one they can hang their hat on. So for the Saints, the win will move them to 7-2 now on the year. And they'll have another road date next week with the Cincinnati Bengals. Meanwhile, for the 49ers, they'll lose an important one here as that drops them to 5-4 on the season. And they'll try and turn things around next week as they have a date at Soldier Field with the Chicago Bears. So for our entire crew, alongside Charles Davis, I'm Brandon Gaudin. Thanks for watching, everybody. We'll see you next time.